You want to meet my parents?
It's only an idea. You don't have to, but I know they would love to meet you.
Ray gently stroked Felice's arm gently and tried to read his face, which proved to be a challenge. Felice looked at him with an expression that could have been either sadness, happiness, or shock.
It's not like I don't want to.
He turned around and sat on Ray's worn-out couch, taking a deep breath and letting his gaze drop to the floor.
As I said, it's not like I don't want to. I just want you to know that I can't return the gesture.
I never meant to put any pressure on you, Felice. I know that you don't like to talk about your parents.
When Felice didn't look up, he slowly sat down next to him and slowly weaved their hands together. They sat in silence for a while, and Ray could feel Felice's finger curl into his. The warmth was loving and familiar.
My parents were horrible people. Well, I say parents, but my dad died when I was young. I have no memory of him, besides the fact that he always smelled like earth.
Ray stroked his thumb over Felice's hand.
Sorry to hear about your father.
It's fine. As I said, I don't remember him at all. Fiona told me he was a good father, though. He worked hard for us and for our family. We used to own a farm in the outskirts of Ud. Did I ever tell you that? Did you know you're dating a farmer's boy?
Best farmer's boy in all of Vitubia. Though, I kind of suspected something like that. Your fondness of horses is very suspicious for a city person.
He used to own a lot of horses, cows, and dogs on the farm. Big patches of crops as well. And Dad used to take care of it all by himself. It was a lot of work. Too much work for just one man, and eventually his back kind of gave up.
Felice sighed heavily and leaned towards Ray before he continued.
With Dad being bedridden, we had no one to take care of the farm. We didn't really have money to hire anyone.
What about your mother? Was she not fit to do that kind of work?
Mother. She is a special person. The reason Dad worked so hard to make money was because Mother used a lot of it on alcohol. She also used to take expensive trips into Ud and return with luxury items like perfume and jewelry. Even though she was born in a middle-class family, she always longed to belong to high society. She desperately wanted to be one of those fancy-looking ladies walking around on the grand shopping streets of Ud. I'm not even sure why she decided to marry my father in the first place, because he had always been a farmer. A very charming and kind farmer, according to Fiona, but still just a farmer.
So, your mother. Guess you didn't take it so well. Your father not making any money?
A laughter escaped Felice's lip. It was not a happy laughter.
Mother went kind of crazy. Her luxury life was slipping through her fingers. I don't remember it at all, actually, but Fiona told me that Mother sent me, Freya, and Fiona out on the fields to do Dad's work. We were still kids.
Disgusting person. Didn't she just pick up a tool and work herself?
She would never do that. She was above that kind of work. So me and my sisters did our best, but of course it didn't result in much. It at least kept the animals alive, but the crops started dying. Mom started drinking a lot more.
Felice closed his eyes and squeezed Ray's hand a little harder.
I guess I never told you, but my mom was actually a magi.
Really?
Yeah, a fire magi.
Ray could feel his partner's hand trembling slightly. He held on even tighter.
When she had been drinking, she couldn't always control her magic. And we kids, we were often in her way.
A sudden rage blew inside Ray. He took a deep breath.
Oh, that burn on your upper left arm?
Yeah, I tried to take away one of the bottles one time.
Ray clenched his teeth and he felt his breathing speeding up. He wanted so badly to give this woman a piece of his mind and a fist to the face. Maybe a couple.
Ray, you're squeezing my hand really hard.
Ah! Sorry. I'm just really upset right now.
Felice's gaze returned to the floor again, hair falling into his face.
I'm not the one you should be sorry for. Did you know that I used to be a very weak kid? I was small for my age when I was a kid, and I was also really shy and a huge coward. Often my classmates would tease and bully me for all kinds of things, and I was too weak to do anything about it. I was scared to talk back at them, and I wasn't big enough or strong enough to fight them. At least, that's what I thought. Freya noticed some kids pushing me around one day, so she stomped over and punched one of them in their face, breaking their nose. "If you're messing with Felice, you're messing with me," she shouted. She took my hand and then dragged me away.
Felice's voice cracked. Ray let go of his hand, only to drape his arm around his boyfriend's shoulders. His entire body was shaking.
Hey!
Ray dragged him closer, and Felice let out a sob.
I've always been protected by my sisters. Always. Because I'm weak. So they ended up... Dad eventually passed away. Apparently he had gotten a bad infection and we didn't have money to treat him. Or Mom didn't want to waste money on him. I don't know anymore. We ended up selling the farm and got a small apartment in Oud. Too small for a family of 3. Me and my sisters shared a small room, and when Mom got drunk, Fiona used to push me and Freya into that room and tell us not to come out, or she would give us a slap on the face. Fiona took it all.
A wet noise escaped Felice, and he curled into a ball, sobbing loudly as his tears dripped down onto the wooden floor. Ray could hear his heart breaking, and his instinct kicked in as he pulled Felice into a hard embrace.
It's okay. It's okay.
He hushed into his ear as Felice gripped his shirt so hard his knuckles were white, like he thought Ray would just disappear in the moment.
She has burn marks all over her back. She made it her mission to protect us, because that's just the kind of person she is. She took it all, and she never let it show how much pain she was going through.
Ray hugged him tighter as Felice let out another heartbreaking sob.
But of course I could hear her crying during the night. She always waited till she thought we were asleep, and then she just cried into her pillow. I couldn't.
This is not your fault. You were just a kid.
But I could have...
No. It's never the victim's fault.
Spoken like a true policeman.
It's true, though. Your mother is to blame here. No one else.
They sat in silence for a while. Ray drew swirl patterns on Felice's back with his hand. He could feel his boyfriend's breathing slowly returning to more normal pace. Every instinct in his body wanted to hurt this woman, who he knew were still alive in this world somewhere. She didn't deserve to be alive. It's a thought that he would never expect to feel as a police. He always felt very strong about the legal system and that everyone deserves a fair trial. But in this case, he just wanted to bring pain to this woman.
Me and Freya were 7 when we moved from the farm. During the time we lived in the apartment, Mother got together with a lot of different men, often men with money, so that she could continue breaking into high society, as she often called it. She and her current partner would often drink in the morning and then spend the rest of the day in Mom's room. We had to feed ourselves, and Fiona walked us to school. Fiona always said she went to school as well, but thinking about it now, I'm pretty sure she took small jobs to earn money without Mom knowing.
She worked at the age of what?
She was 12 at the time. I think she worked at some kind of bookstore because she often brought back children's books that she hid from Mom. She used to read us to them when Mom was loud.
Damn. So when did you leave?
When me and Freya were 9. Fiona should have been 14. Mom had a really sinister-looking guy with her one day. Fiona was doing the dishes in the kitchen, and the guy had looked her up and down and asked Mother, "Isn't that girl of yours ready for some more mature work now? How much does she cost?" Mom had laughed, taken another zip from her bottle, and said that Fiona wasn't old enough yet. And eavesdropping from our room, and when Fiona returned, she had this look on her face. She knew we had to leave, and 3 days later we were out of there. Snuck out when Mom had passed out. Thanks to that old lady from the bookstore that Fiona were friends with, we got tickets to the Capitol with the money Fiona had saved.
So young.
We ended up staying at some relatives of the bookstore lady, a kind older couple whose kids were adults already and had moved out. Looking back at it, I can't believe how lucky we were to find a place like that. We would probably have ended up on the streets if we hadn't. Now me and my sisters could actually attend school and feel like normal kids.
Felice gently pushed away from Ray to look him in the face. He could feel strong arms wrapped around his waist.
I don't know if Mom ever looked for us. I try not to care. I hope she never finds us.
If she does, she'll be sorry. I can promise you that.
Felice smiled brightly, even with tear-stained cheeks and red eyes. Felice gently cupped Ray's face between his hands, almost as if to see if he was real. His smile died down, and he got a serious look in his eyes, an expression that Ray can't remember ever seeing on the man's face before.
Raymond Sadiq, we haven't even been together for a whole year yet, but you're the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Ray could feel his cheeks heating up. Felice leaned forward, and Ray met him for a soft, lingering kiss.
You're my sunshine, Felice. Thank you for having the strength to share your story with me.
Well, now I'm absolutely exhausted. I don't even remember when I cried last. I must look like a mess.
Trust me, you look as beautiful as ever.
You are such a charmer.
Feli, I don't think you ever told me how you and your sisters ended up working at the mayor's office, though.
Oh, well, Fiona used to work at a cafe that the mayor visited a lot, and she loved her tea blends and baking goods, so she kinda stole Fiona from that place and gave her work at the mayor HQ instead.
Wow.
And me and Freya got dragged along because the old receptionist had quit. Me and Freya had just finished school anyway, so it was a good deal. It finally gave me enough money to buy my tiny dream house with space for my horses.
I'm glad.
Felice rubbed his eyes a bit and leaned into Ray, putting his head on his shoulder.
So, well, I'm not gonna let you meet my parents. I would love to meet yours, if you still want me to.
Of course. Your sisters are welcome as well. They're friendly too now.
I'm sure they would like that.
I have to warn you, though. Even though my dad is the chief of police, he's a huge dork.
Felice tried to contain his laughter and felt miserably.
That sounds like someone I know. We should make some dinner. Your night shift starts soon, and I have to get home and feed my babies.
Can't believe you call those beasts babies.
They are my babies, though.
Felice giggled and turned to walk to the small kitchen. Ray snaked his arms around his waist.
Can't we skip dinner?
Ray kissed his neck.
No, but I guess we could be a bit late.
My boss is gonna be so pissed at me. So worth it.